Hi, I'm Old Norse specialist Dr. Jackson Crawford. I teach at the University of Colorado Boulder, previously at UC Berkeley and UCLA. Today, I am back continuing my series of detailed read-throughs of poems from the Poetic Edda. Previously, I did a series reading through Havamal, Odin's Wisdom, as well as Völuspá, the poem of creation at Ragnarok. And today, after polling my Patreon supporters about which poem they wanted to see next, I'm beginning Grímnismál. This was the winner of that poll. Grímnismál is a little bit of a different poem. It has a shorter-term narrative structure. Völuspá sweeps over the entire history of the cosmos, whereas Havamal doesn't have one single narrative structure. Grímnismál is a story about something that happened to Odin. It begins with a prose section, not poetry, that I'll read first before getting into the stanzas. And then we have several stanzas, mostly of Odin revealing details about other worlds and places in other worlds, especially places in Oscar, the realm of the gods. This is a little bit different. People often confuse Grímnismál with Vafthrudnismál. In Vafthrudnismál, the lore that Odin and the giant Vafthrudnir Riddleweaver exchange is mostly about the past and the future. It's about other times, whereas in Grímnismál, the lore is about other places. I won't go through all the notes that I went through in starting the Havamal and Völuspá series, because I assume that if you're interested in this, you are also interested in those, and you know what I'm going to say. But just to sum it up quickly, the pronunciation that I use is Old Norse pronunciation, not modern Icelandic pronunciation that's deliberate. And then the runes you'll see on the screen should not be thought of as being the original text. The original text is in the Roman alphabet, but so many people request these stanzas in runes that I've rendered them in Viking Age, Younger Futhark. Elder Futhark was not used to write Old Norse. It is older than Old Norse. All right, here's the prose section that begins Grímnismál. Frá sonum Hraudungs konungs, concerning the sons of King Hraudung. Hraudungur konungur åtti två sonu, het annar Agnar en annar Geröður. Agnar var 10 vetra en Geröður 8 vetra. Þeir eru tver og båti með dorgar sínar að smáfiski. Vindur rak þó í haf út. Í nótmyrkri brutu þeir við land og gengu upp, fundu kottbónda ein. Þar voru þeir veturinn. Kerling fóstraði Agnar en Karl Geröð. Að vori fekk Karl þeim skip. En þá Kerling leiddu þó til strandar þó mælti Karl ein mæli við Geröð. Þeir fengu bur og komu til stöðva fóðurs síns. Geröður var fram í skipi. Hann hljóp upp á land en hratt út skipinu og mælti: Varðu þar smul hafið þig. Skipið rak út. En Geröður gekk út til bæjar. Honum var vel fagnat. Þó var faðir hans andaður. Var þó Geröður til konungstekinn og varð maður ógetur. So King Hraudung had 2 sons. One was named Agnar and the other Geröður. To say one and the other in Old Norse, you say other, anar. Agnar was 10 winters and Geröður 8 winters, i.e. old. Notice that the winters is in genitive plural, so it's old of how many years. The word old, gamal, can be left out. They, too, their tver, rowed on a boat with their tackle, their fishing gear, dorgar sínar, to small fishing, so they're fishing for some kind of small fish. The wind drove them then out into the sea, rak þó út í haf. In the night darkness, í nótmyrkri, they broke against land, they landed, they hit land, and they walked up. They found a hut farmer, kottbóndi, a certain one, ein kottbóndi. They were there through the winter, þeir voru þar veturinn. An old woman, the old woman, by implication the wife of the Karl, or middle-class farmer guy here, she fostered Agnar, and the man, Karl, Geröð. At spring, at vori, the man got them a ship, fekk þeim skip. And when they and the old woman, Kerling, the woman, so thou Kerling, we have thou, which is neuter or mixed gender, masculine and feminine. So that is the man and the woman. This is a way that Old Norse often expresses multiple people. You have the pronoun that's applicable, and then one of the people, either a name or a noun that's included. So thou Kerling is they, including the old woman. Just like I can say vit Kerling, we too, the old woman, to mean that I and an old woman do something. So the old man and the old woman, they led them to the beach, Strandar. Then, and when they led them to the beach, then the man spoke single speech, einmæli, private speech, secretly with Geirröð. They got a good breeze, their fengu byr, and they came to the harbor, Stóðva, of their father, Fóðursins. Geirröður was forward in the ship. He was ahead of, it's a small two-person boat. And he leapt up on land, and he shoved out the ship, and he said, first of all, let me point out that hrat, that's the third person singular past form to hreinda, which means shove. Just like binda has past third singular bat, hreinda has past third singular hrat. That might not be immediately obvious. And he said, farðu þar smil hafið þig, go where smil, which seems to mean troll women, giant women, some kind of negative female character, although it's neuter in gender, can have thee, can have you. Gosh, listen to me, sounding like Shakespeare or Hollander or something. I guess the similar words sometimes do take over, even when it's 1,000 years from my normal vocabulary. Anyway, the ship was driven out, rak ut, and verbs like rekka, when they're used of weather, and that is really the subject here, is the weather that's wrecking them, driving them out, driving the ship out. They don't necessarily have to express the nominative. I actually think skip it is probably the accusative here, and we can assume that wind or weather is the unstated subject, as it often is unstated. And Geirröður walked out to the town, or to the farm, Byjar. He was well received. And notice, fagna, to welcome or to receive, takes a dative object, so we still have honum in the dative here, even though it's passive. Old Norse, if a verb takes an object that's not an accusative, takes a dative or genitive object, then when it's made into a passive sentence, you're going to still have that expressed as dative or genitive, even though it's logically the subject. Well, it's not logically the subject, but it's grammatically the subject, like he was taken. In English, you can say him was taken. In Old Norse, as long as that verb take doesn't take an object that's accusative, if the object it takes is genitive or dative. And his father was dead then, Andr. And then Geirröður was taken for king, taken till konungs, and he became a great man, varð ágætur maður. Odin og Frigg sátu í hlíðskjálfu og sá heima alla. Odin meldi, ser þú Agnar fóstra þinn, hvar hann born við Gugi í hellinum, en Geirröður fóstri minn konungur og situr nú at landi. Frigg segir, hann matnýðingur, svo að hann kvelur gesti sína ef honum þykja of margir koma. Odin segir að það in mesta lygi, þá veðja þetta mál. So Odin and Frigg sat in hlíðskjálf, Odin's throne, and they saw around all the worlds, heima alla. Odin said, do you see Agnar, your foster son, fóstri, where he gives birth to, nurtures children with a troll woman in a cave, in the cave, Hellinum. But Geirröður, my foster son, is a king, and he sits now at land, i.e. he is a king who is ruling a land. It's mosquito season here. Frigg says he is a food miser, nýðingur. He does not give people food. He's not generous with food. He's not a hospitable host. He is that food miser, så matnýðingur, that he torments or starves, kvelur, his guests, gesti sína, if he thinks, or if seem to him, þykja honum, too many come, of margir koma. So if he thinks there's too many guests, he'll starve them, he'll torment them, because he thinks, because he doesn't want to share his food. Odin says that it is the greatest lies in mesta lygi. They wager veðja about that matter, þetta mál, about this matter. Notice, so veðja is to wager, Ved is something wagered or pledged, and Odin's eye is called his ved in Völuspá. This is also, of course, related to the English word wed, because when you wed someone, you make a pledge, and it's an obvious semantic development. Frigg sendi eskismoi sina fullu til Gerðar. Hon bað konung varast at eigi fyrirgerði honum fjölkunnugur maður. Så þar var komin í land, og sagði það mark á að engi hundur var svo ólmur að hann myndi hlaupa. En það var mesti hégómi að Gerður væri eigi matgóður. Og þó lætur hann handtaka þann mann eigi vildu hundar og róða. Svo var í feldi blóm og nefndist-grímnir og sagði ekki fleiri frá sér þótt hann væri spurður. Konungur lét hann pína til sagna og setja milli elda tveggja og satt hann þar 8 nætur. So going the other direction, I had a little archaic English earlier, but then I pronounced ekki like it's modern Icelandic. But you just see it a lot more in modern Icelandic than in Old Norse. Now it's the normal negator in modern Icelandic, but in Old Norse it usually means ekki. Ekki usually means nothing rather than not. So Frigg sent her box girl, Eskismoi, Fula, to Gerður. What exactly we should read out of box girl is hard to say. Fula is clearly her servant. She appears in many other narratives too. And she, Fula, asked the king to be aware that a fjölkunnugur, a much-knowing man, but this word is always used to mean magically knowledgeable, so a wizard, did not curse him, eigi fyrirgerði honum. A particular one, that one who saw was there come into land. So a particularly powerful wizard who has come to land, and said it a mark on. Now, in English, we would have to say a mark on him, a mark about him, a characteristic of him. But in Old Norse, often, if the object of that preposition can be understood, and here it can, because it's a mark about this wizard, we can leave out the object of the preposition. So it just says, and she says there's this mark on, but it doesn't say mark on him in the Old Norse. So there's this mark on him that no dog was so wild, so savage, Olmur, that on him would leap. So no dog so savage that it'll leap on him. So, it's an interesting way to test your guests. But it was the greatest lie in Mesti Hegomi that Gerður was not food good, not matgood, not hospitable with food. And though he lets capture that man which dogs will not attack. So in Old Norse, to say let's do something means he orders it done. So he orders that man that dogs won't attack to be hand-taken, to be captured. And by the way, that last bit, roða o, that means attack. It's an idiom for to attack. That man saw that, but we know it's the man in question because it's nominative masculine singular, is the logical referent, was in a blue cloak that's from Felder, and he called himself Grímnir, and he said nothing more from himself, though he was asked. Þótt hann væri spurður. And you ask someone about something, spurður at, so again we have the at not having a stated object here. And I do maintain, of course, that blor means blue. I've discussed that many a time, and you can read more about that in my dissertation and a couple of articles that are out there. And what was the other thing I wanted to say about this? Oh yes, Grímnir, so that's related to gríma, mask. So it doesn't seem that he's wearing a mask. Gríma can also indicate hood. It's anything that disguises the face. So I called this shadowed face in my translation. And of course this is Odin in disguise. The king let torture him, let pinahan, i.e. ordered him to be tortured, to speakings till sagna, so he's tortured into speaking, and to set him, setja, between 2 fires, milli tveggja elda, and he sat there 8 nights, sat hann þar 8 nætur. Gerður konungur ótti son 10 vetra gamlan og het Agnar eftir bróður hans. Agnar gekk at Grímni og gaf honum horn fullt að drekka, sagði at konungur gorði illa hann lett pína hann saklausan. Grímnir drakk af, þó var eldrin svo komin at feldrin brann af grímni. Hann kvað. So King Garethur had a son, 10 winters old. So there we actually see that gamal together with the genitive of winters and the number of winters. So he's 10 winters old, 10 years old. And he was named Agnar after his brother. It may seem odd to us to name your son after the brother you killed, or think you've killed. But it's very normal in Old Norse society for the name of your child to be the name of the most recently dead relative of the appropriate sex. Agnar went to Grímnir, and he gave him a full horn to drink. He said that the king did badly when he ordered to torture him without cause, saklausan. Grímnir drank off, that means he drained the drinking horn. Then the fire was so come, it was so developed, that the cloak, feldrin, burned off of Grímnir, and he said, and now the poem begins. Stanza 1. Heitir ertu hrípuður, og heldur til mikil, gongum kvyr fúni, lóði svíðnar, þótt ek og lótt berak, brennumk feldur hur. Hot are you, fire, hrípuður being a poetic word for fire chosen here to alliterate with H's, and rather too big, heldur til mikil. Let me go far, fire. This is the subjunctive of ganga in the first person middle. Let me go far. And then addressing the fire, funi, another word for fire, related to the word for fire in Gothic, and with a different stem to English fire. Cloak, lothi, is singed, svíðnar, though I bear it aloft, though I hold it up, so he's holding it up above the fire. The cloak burns before me. So here we have the umk. Now that appended umk can stand for mer or mik, in addition to being the middle ending. And here this is mer appended to the verb. And when you append umk to a verb, the verb will always get the ending u by attraction to that middle ending. So even though this would be brenner, if we were using the actual normal active ending, that u is being attracted from association with the middle ending, which has a u. So the fire burns before me, fyrir mer, with the mer being the imk that's attached to brenner. Stanza 2, and this is still Odin-as-grímnir speaking. Åtta nätter satt ek milli elda her, svo at mer mangi mats ne bauð nema ein agnar, ein skal råða Gerðarsonr Gotnalandi. 8 nights sat I between fires here, so that no man, mangi, that's gi, the negative suffix, so that no man offered to me, mer, food, except Agnar alone, nema Agnar ein, who alone shall rule, ein skal råða, the son of Gerðr, renaming Agnar, the land of the Goths, Gotna Landi. And of course, it's often just used to mean men of any kind. This doesn't specifically have to take place in a Gothic context. Notice too, råða takes a dative object, so råða landi, not råða land. Stanza 3. Heil skal tu Agnar, alls þig heilan bíður vera tur vera. Eins drykkjar þú skalt aldrei betri gjöld geta. You shall be whole, hail, Agnar. This is a common greeting, especially a very respectful or generous greeting. Agnar. Okay, so Vera Tyr, god of men. Tyr can just mean god, it isn't just the name of the specific god. God of men, of Vera. This is like the word in English, werewolf. It's a god of men, this is Odin. Bids you to be hail. Bíður, thick, Vera, heilan. Accusative because thick, the object of bíður is accusative. You shall never, þú skalt aldrei, geta, better repayment, betri gjöld, of one drink, eins drykkjar, so you'll never be repaid better for one drink. Notice, geta is not often used to mean get in Old Norse as it is in English, but you sometimes see it here, especially in poetic usages. Stanza 4. Land heilagt ek liggja se, åsum och olvum när. En I þrúðheimi skal Thor vera, uns rjúvask regen. A land is holy, which I see lie, se liggja, near gods and elves, när åsum och olvum, near Aesir and elves. And in Þrúðheimr, strength home, shall Thor be until the gods are destroyed. This is a rare use of the sk suffix and an actual true passive in Old Norse. So rjuva to destroy, regen subject, shall be destroyed, regen rjuvask, till the gods shall be destroyed, till Ragnarok. Stanza 5. Dalir heita þar ullur hefir, ser gorva salli. Olfheim froi gobu I ordaga, tivar atanfe. So U is in Y-E-W. The tree, dales or valleys, they are called where Uller has made for himself hefir gorva ser halls. And gorva is in the accusative plural masculine because it's agreeing with sali. This is an older way of forming the perfect in Old Norse. In classical Old Norse or in modern Icelandic, you would just say gort sali, with gort being the neuter nominative or accusative singular, just used for everything now. The gods, Tivar, gave Froi, which is the dative and the accusative of Froi, Olfheim, the elf realm, in early days, I Ordaga, as a tooth gift, Tanfe, a gift given to a child upon teething. I'll read more about the homes of the gods in the next installment of this read-through of Grímnismál, but for now, I probably ought to get a little bit further away from this lightning. From beautiful Colorado, I'm wishing you all the best.